Hey guys, welcome to Approach the Nerd and our Arrowverse weekly recap stream. Proof that I am half British. I could not start the stream until my tea was done. I know. I can't help myself. So, in this stream, we are covering Stargirl, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and Batwoman. Lots to talk about, so let's kind of roll in. We're going to kick off in order of airing. Stargirl. So Stargirl this week was interesting. We learned a lot actually this week. We learned that they're doing the CW redemption arc story for our wonderful, wonderful Cindy, basically Berman, because she kind of helped Courtney out in this episode get Yolanda back. So I'll get to that in a second. But I just wanted to point that out that I am starting to see the trickling, the CW bird droppings just dropping in to the Stargirl series. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's happening. So as we know, Eclipso is bad. The little kid they have to play Eclipso, who played basically little Bruce, is bad. That little kid literally, as a mother, I feel like I just need to tan his butt. I need to just put him over my knee, get the switch off the tree, whatever I need to do, and just tan him. He was not spanked enough as a child. Sorry if you don't believe in corporal punishment. It's how I was raised, but I mean, it's a thing. I do think that this child is a damn good actor because, again, when you see this child literally, no holds bar here, creeps me the hell out. Like, he creeps me out. All right, so basically the goal is to try and get the JSA back together. Now, Beth took Jen off to investigate the other location, potentially where, the shade may have been, like where the energy is. And they find this little black goo, which is pretty much the goo that sucked Cindy into the other realm. And it attached itself to the Green Lantern ring. So Jenny's having all of these like dreams now about, the team dying. And eventually we see in this episode that Courtney is pretty much the new Eclipso host. And it looks pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. The scene itself looks really cool. It kind of looks like, if you remember the second Avengers movie in MCU where, Tony Stark was having like a vision of all the Avengers dead and it being his fault. And Wanda was putting that in his head. That is literally what this scene to me kind of looked like with Jen. But yeah, it's very foreboding, but it's also, since the season finale, I believe, is next week, it's also foretelling of Courtney being affected. Now, Courtney is only being affected because Courtney is the main character of the show. This is why Eclipso's at. Eclipso could go after absolutely any of them, but only Courtney, because Courtney has the light. She has the light power. She is the hope. She needs to be the person who literally stands up to Eclipso to have the ultimate battle between darkness and light. That is what's happening right now. I don't know where the hell Starman is again. Again, Starman has been driving to Blue Valley for, at this point, the entire damn season. Like, the entire season. He has the worst mileage on his car ever. I mean, it's almost like he goes 100 miles every 5 days. Like, so at this rate, he may show up in the next episode because I don't know where the hell he's been. Like, it's just driving me nuts. But anyway, so Courtney tried to get Yolanda to come back by telling Yolanda, hey, you're not the first JSA member to kill somebody. And Yolanda's like, what? And she's like, oh yeah, the previous Wildcat especially. Ted, yeah, he killed people too. Because in her mind, she thought she'd be able to relate to the evil or the killing aspect of the JSA and get over herself. All that did was make it worse. And she's like, so basically you're saying not only am I a killer, anybody that wears this damn suit is a killer. I'm never putting that suit on again. So you see Cindy standing off in the sideline, like peeking through the trees like a creeper. And she's like, you see her like get all sad and like, feel bad for Courtney. So then she goes to Yolanda's, into Yolanda's room and talks crap to her. And she's like, I don't want you to come back. Don't come back. Don't ever come back. You know why? Because I'm there now. I'm pairing with her. I have a rivalry with her, but I'm still going to help her take down Eclipso. We don't need you. And she did that knowing that would set Yolanda off and Yolanda would go running back. And I'm like, hence the CW formula villain redemption program. Cindy has now been initiated. Just saying. Now, to be fair, Shiv does have a very bad backstory. I mean, if my dad literally started ripping my parts off and experimenting on me to give me superhuman abilities, essentially making me into a freaked out, factory made meta, I probably would have a lot of issues too. And if I accidentally used these powers when I was a kid to accidentally kill my mom because I didn't want to go to bed, that would F me up too. So yeah, I get why Cindy is messed up. And we saw how lonely she was, even with her stepmother. She never killed the stepmother, even though she was a brainwashed woman, because she didn't want to be alone. She wanted somebody to give a damn about her. So I see this. And she needs to see that, honestly, Yolanda and Cindy have a lot in common. They both have trash families. They both have trash. Well, her father's just trash. Her mother's dead. Yolanda's parents are just completely... They should have never had effing kids, seriously. So yeah, I kind of feel like this is the redemption program for villains. So let's talk about some other things in this episode that I really enjoyed. I love Beth meeting the original Dr. Midnight. Dr. Midnight was she was fangirling. You would think she was meeting her favorite K-pop band. And she it was giddy as hell. Even Barbara was watching them and she was smiling because she was like, "Hey, you think I'm cool?" And I'm like, okay. It was cute. It was very, very cute. And I love that they worked together in the episode, and Dr. Midnight being her mentor, that tracks because, again, if you read Infinity Inc., that happens in the comics. So the only difference was she was actually his protege in the hospital. She studied under him to be a surgeon. So her becoming Dr. Midnight was a side effect of her being blinded trying to rescue patients during an explosion in the hospital. So I don't know if we're going to get that storyline for Beth, if she's going to lose her eyesight and have that crazy, freaky, I can see in the dark vision. But who knows? But I do know that the whole thing with Dr. McNider and Beth is adorable. I like it. It's cool. It tracks. I'm okay with this. All right. So let's talk about Pat. Now in the comics, Pat basically was older than Sylvester. So we all know this. And they kept that in this version. Again, Sylvester did not pass on the staff, basically the cosmic staff. Or I don't want to say pass on. Courtney took it. She actually became the next Star Spangled Kid before she became Stargirl. So, Stripey and him were kind of they had this rivalry going on in the comics. And only because Pat was a really good fighter and they both had training to be gymnasts or acrobats. It was really weird. They had all of these skills that Pat doesn't necessarily have now in the CW. But Pat, let me tell you, Pat was channeling his own Eclipso. He walked in to see Matt, and Matt is the uncle who was supposed to be taking care of Rick all these years, but was basically taking and using the money and drinking away his life and being in his feelings because he had to raise his sister's kid and didn't want to. Anyway, so we all know the story. Eclipso made Rick think he was fighting, Solomon, Grundy, and he was actually beating the hell out of his uncle. Put him in the hospital. He's laid up in traction in the hospital. He can't move. He can write a little bit, can't talk. Pat goes there to try and get Rick released to be able to help the JSA take down Eclipso because they need everybody. Now, let me say this, okay? This is where I have a problem with this. They should have been helping Rick get out of the damn jail the entire effing time. I'm just putting that out there. It should have been oh, well, now that we really need all hands on deck, let's go get Rick out of jail. No, this should have been something that Pat was trying to do from the moment he was arrested. I don't know why this now was an inspiration. So I just had to say that. It irritated me. It also irritates me that Beth hasn't gone to see Rick, in jail because they were the closest on the team, just like Courtney and Yolanda are best friends. And as far as I'm concerned, Rick and Beth are best friends because, again, they were lovers in the comics. So I don't know why that was a thing. But anyway, so Pat rolls into Matt and tries to reason with him. And basically Matt writes a message saying, so go to hell. And Pat's like, when I was in the army, I was like, oh, well, as soon as he started talking about being in the army, I was like, uh-oh. And he just starts talking about his time in the army. And he's like, you're not a good guy, Matt. And then he starts walking over to the blinds and closing them. What the hell did Pat do? Because the next thing we know, Pat's picking up Rick from jail and all the charges are dropped. I'm like, what the hell, Pat? Why haven't we seen this with Sportsmaster or anybody else? What in the hell happened? I want to know what Pat is like when he goes dark. I need to know. And why are we just seeing this now? He has been in a lot of life-threatening situations. Why are we now seeing Pat, the dark side of Pat, right now? Question mark. I'm not complaining. I think it's cool as hell, but what? So Pat got him out of jail, and when Rick's like, well, why did my uncle drop the charges? He's like, oh. Like, whew, guys. Anyway, Mike's also on a mission to find Thunder. He goes and finds this extremely huge effing cheeseburger in the middle of this house, and then notices that there is a bag full of newspapers laying on the ground. He looks at it and it says property of Jakeem. And so he realized that Jakeem basically has Thunder. He puts it together. So he goes and finds it and he starts talking. And so Matt, Mike's like, I think I call him Matt. So Mike is like, he goes and finds Jakeem and he's like, I need Thunder back, blah, blah, blah. This is to save the world, blah, blah, blah. And so they both start talking to each other. And Jakeem basically says, the one thing I like about Thunder is that, there's somebody that can be around me that I can talk to and hang out with. Because if you see Jakeem's sister, she is a little bitch. And she's always threatening to go to the dad. And I'm assuming his mom's involved too. I feel like he's bullied in his house and he doesn't have any friends. And he's just really lonely. And I guess he just connected with Thunder. So Mike sees that and he's like, okay, well, you can keep Thunder, but you have to save the world. Now, two funny scenes with Jakeem. When he first finds Jakeem looks paranoid as hell. He's like looking around. He's like, what's wrong with you? He's like, so I was hungry and I wished for a cheeseburger. And this big, huge cheeseburger appeared. And Mike's like, yeah, I saw it. He's like, yeah. Then I wished for Chinese food. And Mike's like, well, hell, now Thunder's probably gone off to China to get it. He's going to be gone for a while. And he's like, huh. And then he's like, yeah, I also wish that I could fly out, or wish my bike could fly. And it's been kind of circling for a while. And he's like paranoid. It was just the funniest scene to me. That was funny as hell. And then the second funny scene is Jakeem's all rearing to go. And then the sister's like, it's your turn to do the dishes. And he's like, I have company. We got to save the world. And she's like, Dad, Jakeem won't do the dishes. And so him and Mike end up literally having to wash dishes. And I don't know how many people are in this house, but the sister kept bringing more shit for them to wash. So I'm like, he's bullied. I don't know why at this point Jakeem didn't wish that his sister got a scholarship to another city and went away for the rest of her life. So obviously he hasn't figured out that he could do that, or maybe he's worried about, if he did make that wish, that it would backfire. Maybe end up killing his sister. I don't know. But his sister's a little B. She really is. All right. So Yolanda does come back and she's like, I'm only coming back because she was like, are you letting Cindy on the team? Are you insane? And Courtney's like, yeah, probably, like, I love Courtney's like, I probably am crazy. But Yolanda is like, I'm coming back to the team, only to keep everybody safe from Cindy. And I kept thinking to myself, if Shiv really wanted to kill Yolanda, Shiv would kill Yolanda. Yes, Yolanda is a badass fighter. Wildcat is a very good fighter, but she's not a meta like she is in the comic books. She's a girl wearing a suit that enhances her abilities to fight. In the comics, she is a meta. So she has all these cat-like reflexes and all this stuff. That's not Yolanda in the CW version. So Shiv would basically tear Yolanda apart. If she really wanted to. So I love that Yolanda is going to go be the bodyguard, which basically, what she should have said is, I'm going to be on the team to get my ass kicked in your place. I'm like, that's literally what's happening. And then she's like, where's my suit? And you see Courtney in the background, like smiling. I'm like, this is stupid. It's stupid. But yeah, overall, I really did enjoy this episode. I did. Again, I don't think the shade is dead. There was a part where Barbara saw like the shade, it almost looked like a silhouette of the shade going by. I don't think he's dead, because can you really kill a shadow? I don't think you can. I think his physical form may be gone, but I don't think he's gone. I think he is now a permanent part of the shadow realm. I don't know why I believe that, but I do. So I don't think he's 100% gone. And I think he is going to aid them in defeating Eclipso, because why have the shade all the way up to this part just to be the person that brings Courtney back, from the shadow realm? That doesn't make any sense. He has a bigger role to play in this season. And if he's not in the season finale and he's not helping them, that is a missed opportunity. And that is proof to me that the CW writing is on the precipice. And I'm going to be really sad for the next season. But for the most part, though, I definitely like where it's going. I know we're probably not going to get anything about, Obsidian and, Jade, like their story, because they're dealing with their stuff with Dr. Love, which again, Dr. Love, it's so weird to hear that name, because Dr. Love was literally the one that made Yolanda metahuman by experimenting on her mom and a bunch of other women, because he was a crazy scientist masquerading as a gynecologist and an OBGYN. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like I said, my end goal for this series has always been the formation of Infinity Inc. That's literally, like, I want Sylvester to become Skyman. I want all this stuff to happen like it happens in the comics. I know that this, again, is a CW show, so it probably will not happen, but I effing love Infinity Inc. and I would love to have more of the characters just come in. And even if it's making like an episodic cameo thing, kind of like how Smallville did in the later seasons, we got like Zatanna, we got Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, like everybody just would come in. I would love to see more characters come in, not just the old JSA. I want to see other established characters. And they can do this because Earth 2 is not a part of Arrowverse's Prime Earth. They are still on their own Earth. So I really would love for that to happen. So, but yeah, I mean, overall, very, very good episode. Like I said, the whole thing with Beth and Dr. Midnight, with him telling her, it says, just call me Chuck. I'm like, Beth's got her Chuck back. All that stuff is like really, really cute. So there's a lot of cute. It was not a deep episode. It was basically Eclipso effing with people, like when Beth and Dr. Midnighter went to the ISA to use their computer. And of course, she sent out a distress signal for everybody to come there. And Calypso's like, I want everybody here, because I want to take, I want to break Stargirl and suck all the goodness and light and feed on her fear and blah, 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 make her cray cray and turn on you, basically, is what the end game is. So that's what's probably going to happen on next week's episode, which I'm excited about. So, but yeah, let me look at your questions. See, Marvel, can't wait. This is my first Arrowverse recap. Welcome, 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 welcome. I need to do a video, guys, on what's all the stuff that's going on. I'm doing a lot of voice acting auditions, and I've got lines I have to do. So it's been really impeding me making videos. And then there's some health stuff I need to talk about too. So I need to make a video so people know why my videos are being slow right now. Finally. Hi, Ryan. I'm glad you made it. And Batwoman. Let me start on that. That's the last show we're going to talk about today. Hello, Dee Marie. We still don't know why Mike was on Cindy's list. I mean, maybe she just needed to fill out another member for Photoshop. I don't know, because she made him look like Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker when he was influenced by Venom, and he had that slick, greasy hair. It was such a weird picture. I don't know what was happening. To be fair to Cindy, she is young and she might have a chance of being redeemed. Maybe. Yeah, I feel like if any villain's going to be redeemed, it should be her. We'll talk about why I don't have that same opinion of Alice, because I feel like the Alice that we had prior to this season should have probably gone through a lot of intensive therapy and had a shot to be, Beth again. But when she left that little girl to try and teach her weapons, I realized she did that out of trauma in the last episode, but she left that little girl down there to basically face off, against Killer Croc. And I'm just like, You can't redeem yourself on that one, but that's just bad writing on the CW's part anyway. So I don't know if I can really take that seriously. Imagine if Starman isn't in the finale. Yes, imagine if that doesn't happen. Then it's just another indicator that the CW writing is here. I bet Starman will show up in the finale at the end, though. He'll finally roll up in his car and be like, is this Blue Valley? I'm like, what would be really messed up is if he rolled up in his car and the staff recognized him and left Courtney and went to him. And then even when Courtney got her senses and stuff, her faculties back, she'd be like, but I'm Stargirl. It's my destiny. And it'd be like, but I'm Starman and it was mine first. Nah, 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 nah. Because I still see that happening. I see them being a little bit of some tension over the staff. Because if the original Starman is back, we don't need Stargirl. But of course she's going to be Stargirl. You know why? Because the show is called Stargirl and not Starman. So it has to happen. So I think this is probably going to be the evolution of Spot. Well, it's either going to be Skyman or he's going to go back and be a grown-up version of the Star Spangled. Maybe be the Star Spangled Man instead of Star Spangled Kid. Pat is kind of scary with Ricky's. Yeah, that whole thing was messed up. I love how Courtney thought telling Yolanda that would help her. I know, right? I'm like, oh, it's all good. You aren't the only one that's killed people. They killed people too. They killed that Bruce guy. They get Eclipso out. See, it works. Murder is fine. Like, wow. They made Eclipso OP. They really did. They really did. Shiv kind of has a storyline like Alice. Kind of. I mean, she was also kind of trapped by her dad. So yeah, I guess I could see that. They are both held prisoner, both basically tortured, made to do things against their will. And then what gets on my nerves about the whole thing with Alice is they've already said that the only reason that she was as crazy as she was in terms of killing is because Sophia literally had her brainwashed into being crazier. It's like she was trying to make the Red Alice that we all know in the comics. And even with that knowledge, it doesn't matter how much trauma or torture or brainwashing Alice goes through. They still treat her like shit in that show. It's so weird to me. It's just weird. But yeah, if something happens to any of them, then it's, but you were under the influence. It's not your fault. It's such bad writing, guys. I can't stand that show. Beth and Midnight meeting was so geeky and cute. It really was. I was so excited about that. And Pat has hidden layers. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes, he does. Yeah, they just left Rick hanging. I don't understand. I don't understand why they did not get him out of jail earlier. It's really weird. Maria, will you be doing Young Justice season 4? It is out and it's on its 4th episode. I'm not sure. Again, I'm gonna have to make a video on things that are going on, which have been hindering me from doing things. So I'm gonna have to do a Let's Talk video. Jeff Johns has heavily involved in Titans, and that show has so many issues. 3 seasons in, he is good at writing certain comics, and that translates to his TV work too. If they let Jeff Johns do a lot of this shit, it would be fine. Stargirl really enjoyable. Can't believe season finale is next week. Starman, just watch. He'll appear at the end of finale cliffhanger. I mean, I'm here for it. I'm not going to be upset if he shows up. I feel CW needs to actually do vetting on the competency of its writers, because I feel it's a lot of writers writing that they think the CW shows should be like, which is trash. Yeah, I feel like they hire a lot of people that never read a comic book. I really do. And then tell them to adapt a comic book. It's really stupid. This is literally the Bryan Singer method of doing, anything with comics. Because, he had no idea who half the damn characters were in his X-Men movies, which is really sad. His actors have come out and said that. And I mean, it's like, it shows. It absolutely shows. I must say, enjoying Young Justice season 4 so far. This last ep was a doozy, though. I'm gonna have to watch it because, like I said, I am behind on so much, so much. I still ship Cindy and Courtney. That's fine. I mean, Cameron and her are boring as hell to me. I'm gonna be real with you. I think Stargirl is so good because we have a lot of characters who are actually interesting. So much so the episodes feel very short because they are so enjoyable. I agree. Like even with Cameron, like we haven't even seen Cam for a while. Like they'll have like characters, and then they're like, "Oh, it's a big deal," and then it's like 3 or 4 episodes we don't see anything from them. I don't know what's going to happen with that. So when he finds out they killed his dad accidentally, though, it's going to be a thing. And we know he's getting his powers. If Starman showed up, I would want the staff to beat him up and choose Courtney. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to have an official passing of the staff, which is so weird because that didn't happen between him and Courtney. That was literally between Jack Knight and her. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think having shorter seasons helps keep the writing strong. True. I just wish they had less freaking commercials. It's so annoying. But like, you have like 40 minutes of episode and the rest is like all 20 minutes of commercials. I wouldn't be shocked if the end credit scenes of the show is Starman showing up at the Whitmore Dugan's doorstep. And it was like, I finally found Blue Valley. What fans want, however, is Starman showing up in the battle against Eclipso. I would love that. I would absolutely love that, honestly. They're shooting season 3 now. Oh, I'm sure. I feel like the CW does not give their actors a break. I don't know what it is. Like they go home for like a week and they're like, all right, back to work. Speaking of Sophia, is she still on that beach? Probably. Maria, the Batwoman writers have an Instagram. You should tell them how you feel. They do not want me. Because like literally, hashtag stop writing Batwoman. In a nutshell, just stop. Just stop. Go back to if this is Monopoly, go back home, go to start, put your pieces away, fold the game up, go home. There is no game night for you. I heard Cameron isn't next in the show until season 3. Oh, Lord. If they ever have Power Girl, I hope they get the actress who plays young teen Kara in Super. Oh, she'd be really good. I agree with that. I saw like a teaser for Naomi. I'm actually excited to see how they bring her into. Slightly worried, but I'm really excited to see what they do with that. All right, let's talk about Supergirl, episode 17. Or as I like to say, the love story between Lex Luthor and Nyxly, because that's what the hell it is. So Lex basically is from the future where his Nyxly dies and he couldn't handle it. So he goes back in the past basically to find his Nyxly, who doesn't want 5 shiz to do with him. Like he keeps helping her and he just doesn't give a shit. She's like, no, And I love how when they first had their first conversation, she got really mad at him because she's like, wait, you're the one that sent Kara, a Supergirl, to the Phantom Zone. And he's like, yeah. She's like, I don't do well with men, throwing women in prison. Get the hell off my ship. I was like, yeah. But Lex did say he preserved her like consciousness in a time machine and used it to come back to her past to find her. And he's like, I was a narcissist. I didn't love anybody. I didn't need anybody. But Nyxly was the one person that like matches me. So like they literally have given Lex. How sad is this for Supergirl that Lex has gotten a soulmate and she's still out there with nobody. Which I guess Monel's probably going to come back because that's her husband in real life. So it's a thing. But yeah, a lot of this episode revolved around Lex helping Nyxly, Lex convincing Nyxly that she is the love of his life. When they first try to get the love totem, they get ambushed by everybody. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. This is how you know the CW writing is across the board insane, okay? The first time they tried to get the totem, right? They were in the woods. It was in a tree, but it was actually a fake totem that Lena made because Kara keeps going to Lena. Now that she knows that Lena knows magic, she goes to Lena for every damn thing. She's like, hey, Lena, you want to make one of those fake ones using your magic? Hey, Lena, you want to do this? You want to do that? You want to do this? It's like, will you leave this girl alone? She literally has just learned she's a witch and just got this book and has only been studying magic for like a day. Leave her alone. Nobody can do shit in a day. This is not a YouTube video. So they go to get the totem, the fake totem. They don't know it's a fake totem. And, Nyxly was about to be caught in a trap. And of course, Lex saves her from said trap. And see, when Lex showed up, it threw Lena off her game. It threw everybody else off their game because the Lex they think is dead, but he's actually from the future. So let's talk about this. Later on in this episode, and I'll get to the whole Alex and Kelly and all the other stuff in a second. They're in almost the exact same situation. The love totem is formed because of the love between Alex and Kelly, which they should have figured out. Love totem, but it's fine. Well, Lex, of course, Nixley's there. They have this plan to trap her again. Martian Manhunter is fighting Lex Luthor. And Lex Luthor is literally holding his own, first of all, against, Martian Manhunter, which, guys, hear me here. There is no universe on this effing planet that Lex Luthor, especially not in a damn suit of any kind, is going to take on Martian Manhunter and effing survive. Martian Manhunter could have gotten his head and been like, sit your ass down, and controlled him. This is why I hate what they do with Martian Manhunter and Supergirl. They make him so effing weak. It drives me crazy. It drives me absolutely crazy. Lex Luthor fighting Martian Manhunter is unrealistic as hell. Unrealistic as hell. That's literally like Superman taking on Alex and her not having kryptonite or anything that could hurt him. So I was really in my feelings about that. But this is where they don't learn a lesson. Now, he already intervened in them capturing Nixley before, right? So then Lex does the exact damn same thing, because when Martian Manhunter knocks him down for like a millisecond, he leaves him unattended and then goes with the rest of the group who have it covered. What the? I was like, guys, they ain't trying. They are not trying to kill. They're not trying to get her. They're not trying. Nobody in this stream, nobody on this planet is going to convince me watching that scene that they were trying to get Nixley. No, they weren't trying. They were not trying. I just had to throw that out there because I was like, this, it's a thing. All right. So the meat of the story is basically Lena trying to separate herself from her brother's influence, where he makes her feel inferior, basically giving her an inferiority complex to him, having a hold over him. Her powers are emotion based. She couldn't really do anything against Lex in the moment when he first appeared, because that's her brother, and she's messed up because of him. And so her having to overcome that was one of the challenges in this episode. Another challenge is Alex was trying to go to this restaurant. I believe it was called Owls or whatever. It was the one where it was a restaurant where she first realized that she was in love with Kelly, because they both loved the same villain in a horror movie that they both like, and they thought was the best villain of all time. It's cheesy. It's cute. But when they go to Owls, it's already rented out on the anniversary of the day she realized she first loved Kelly. So she's kind of bummed out the entire episode. She doesn't know how she's going to ask Kelly to marry her. Well, Kelly had the same damn idea. She was the one that rented out Owls. And, Esme and everybody else, they were basically in on it. And she had a ring for Alex. So she was going to propose. So it became a battle of who was going to propose first. But, Alex was like, no, let me do it. It was very cheesy. It was very cute. They are a cute couple. And Esme is adorable. But again, I don't know why they did not understand that the totem would appear because of their love, because that was the biggest love event besides Lex and Nixley in this episode, and nobody gives a crap about them. So it's like, why didn't you think, proposal, big demonstration of two people who really love each other may attract the love totem? But like I said, it's not that I dislike this show at all. It's literally sometimes the writing just makes me laugh. It's very funny. All right. So they get to the proposal, but of course the love totem shows, and that's when Nixley shows up and all the stuff I just told you that happened with Lex. He chose to save Nixley over getting the totem. And the totem ends up, I believe, being destroyed or inert. And then what we learned is because Nixley's like, how did we get the previous totem? You threw it was thrown into the sun. He's like, yeah, but that's just the what's the capsule, the outside capsule is. One, you can't really destroy the totem. It's just going to appear as something else. Well, that the love totem actually appears on Esme, on her neck. And I knew they were going to find a way to kidnap this girl. I just didn't realize it's because she's technically now the love totem. So the big battle is going to be getting their daughter back before they have their wedding, because we know that they're going to have the wedding between Alex and Kelly. What I really think is going to happen in this episode, to be clear, is I believe that Kara is going to go back to the future with Brainy. I don't know if Dreamer may or may not go, which is going to be sad. But I just foresee her going to the future with Mon-El. I really do. And leaving Earth to Alex, Martian Manhunter, and, Guardian, Kelly, as the three main heroes. Because for some reason, I just feel like that's what's going to happen. Which is interesting. It's very, very interesting. I also want to know, so the little goon that was talking to Lex, that Lex, I always forget his name, that Lex was venting to and was giving Lex love advice, which was really funny. He's been meeting with William for some reason, or Daniel, William, or I think it's Daniel. I always call him William. Don't ask me why. He's British. I'm half British. I just think his name should be William. But why are they meeting together? What is that about? Are they working together to take Lex down? Is this his source for something? Why is he meeting with him? That doesn't make any sense. To be fair, his character is pretty straightforward in one note. He's a journalist who's just out for truth and is goody and can bake. So throw on a little drama in there the last minute. That's a thing. Is it William? Thank you, Ryan. I just saw that. I kind of feel like he needs to have something about him. Just something about him that's a little shady. I've always felt that way. He has the face for it. If you really look at William's face, doesn't he have that element of, you shady as hell? So I don't know. I kind of feel like that would be, in retrospect, I feel like that would be a really good way of taking that. It's hard trying to condense all of these things into a couple of episodes. It's weird. It's just really weird that, they really should have, I really believe that Kara's time in the Phantom Zone, and I know what people are saying, she was pregnant, she was getting past all her, getting past her postpartum, all that stuff. I understand that. But I feel like that still went on a long time, because even the episode she was filming, she could have been doing something else to find totems. It would have been a lot more interesting to have dedicated arcs towards, the totems. And then you got to see more of other characters dealing with other things, not just throw it in the last tail end of the series before the series finale. I don't know. I just feel that that's really weird. But again, this is not a bad episode. There are just things in here that it's like they don't learn lessons. They don't learn anything. It's like Lex interfered once. Lex is there. Somebody take out Lex. Martian Manhunter, take Lex. Fly off with Lex. So Lex cannot interfere. Get into his mind and shut him off. Why are we going through this? It's just so stupid. I was just I can't handle this emotionally. So yeah, guys, I had a lot of issues. I had a lot of issues with some of the choices, but to be fair, I have issues with their choices all the time. So that's never going to change. And I kind of feel like if they want to be successful in the next episode or next couple of episodes, I think it might be 2 episodes. I don't know. It's either 1 or 2 episodes left. I really feel like they need to slow down and use their brains. Just think it through. Just think it through before you cut off and just do the same dumb shit over and over again. If Lex is the reason that you can't hold Nixley, take Lex out. Guys. So much. All right, let me look at your comments. I'm going to scroll up because I know you guys have been talking about that. Let's see. Sorry. Because that's about Batwoman. All right. One of the best parts about Crisis was Brendan Ralph's Superman suit. I would actually be okay if they made him Earth 2 Superman. Kingdom Come Superman is badass. I'm sorry. I love that they've established that movie verse version of Superman, which was Superman Returns, is Kingdom Come. I think that's very cool. This ep was cheesy as hell. Yeah, it was. Supergirl was good this week, in my opinion. It's not that it's bad. There's just elements that are stupid. That's the problem. It's not like Batwoman where I literally just want to walk off to my balcony and just leap off of it when I watch it. It's literally not to that level, but there are sprinkled elements of why the hell are you writing it like this to get on my nerves. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the Ella parts, but it was so cheesy. Yeah. I agree with that. Speaking of Supergirl, Jenna Dewan is going to reprise her role as Lucy Lane in season 2 of Superman and Lois after close to 5 years. Wow. Well, that's very cool. And that is so interesting because her and the current Lois look nothing alike. What I loved about her name just went out of my head. Oh my gosh, her head, she just went out of my Golden Glider and Tomorrow Girl person. She was in Tomorrow People as one of the main characters. The actress that played her, I think it's Peyton something, but it may not be Peyton. She played Lois Lane in Smallville, and her and Erica Durance looked a little bit alike, so they were believable as sisters. I don't know. I just feel like, like Jenna doesn't look anything like Bitsy. So that's going to be interesting. It's just interesting to me. Like with Erica Durance, I never really knew what her ethnicity was because she could have passed for Italian. She could have passed for like different things if you really looked at her. Same with Lucy Lane, actress. But Bitsy looks white. She's white. So it's like, it's going to be interesting to have this exotic girl playing Lucy and then have white playing Lana. I'm playing Lois Lane. It's just going to be very weird. But to be fair, in the comics, Lucy Lane has always been blonde and they've never portrayed her as blonde. I don't know what it is. They just absolutely refuse to do it. So, yeah, whatever. What ifs? Let's see. Sorry, trying to find a question for this one. Here we go. Just wait. The show crew baits with Lena and Kara, but in the finale, she will go into the future with Mon-El. Yep. And they've been queer baiting for a very long time to the point where I see it. Like, I wasn't paying attention to it. I see it. There's no way half the shit they say to each other and look at each other and finish each other's sentences. It is hard for people like me and people like some of you that are queer. It really is an insult. And it's almost like you're saying, because we have Alex as our resident gay lead, we can't have other LGBT people. I mean, we have Dreamer. She's LGBT. So they're like, well, Supergirl has to be heterosexual then, because you can't just have no heterosexuals. I'm like, Supergirl has been across the board in many directions in the comics. So, I mean, to be fair, a lot of characters swing both ways on a spectrum. She's a whole ass alien. She's not even a human. So it doesn't matter. Maybe on Krypton, they don't have a sexuality clause like we do here. They don't have discrimination and homophobia and all that shit. So like, to humanize a non-human character with human values that are stupid to begin with doesn't make any sense. So it's crazy. I know they're not going to do it. We all know they're not going to do it. They're just not. She's going to run off with Mon-El, her husband in real life, because that's how the raters are. But they're gonna bait people to keep watching the damn show because they're just mean, and that's the truth. I feel like in season 5, Andrews's character was good, and she had like a backstory with Lena, but Crisis on Infinite Pooh just made her character bad, and her story this season is just money focused. I know she's got nothing else to do. It's a waste of a very good character. But again, I'm over all of it. I really am. I'm overall the Crisis on Infinite Pooh did nothing but just mess up already problematic storylines. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I see the Flash's crossover trailer all the time, when he starts off and says, my name is Barry Allen, and I think he said something along the lines of, I'm gonna do something I've never done before. My initial response to that is, have a good series. I'm like, have a season worth shit. I'm like, and for a speedster, why in the hell does he always get time to do stuff? He's the fastest moving person in the Arrowverse. Everybody else goes like 29 minutes, an hour. I have 7 days to fix this shit. You know what? Just stop. I don't want to hear your shit. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Oh, God. I'm so glad we Nixley do some stunts. I agree with that. The love totem going to Alex was so sweet. I mean, they should have known. Like, I just don't know how they didn't know. Oh, my gosh. Melissa's hubby is coming back as Mon-El because he needs a job. Yes, that's exactly why. Yeah, God forbid we have characters stronger than Supergirl, right? I can't. Martian Manhunter's in my heart, and it just makes me mad. I'm so mad. They messed him up too in the Snyder Cut, only because I can't think of any universe where Martian Manhunter would not have been involved in helping to save the world. Instead, he just sat back and was like, I just want to see what you guys would do. See if I wanted to join you guys. What? Like, don't get me started with that. Oh my, sorry if you guys have not seen that. That was a spoiler. I apologize. Nixley, the actor, is good. Yes, I love her face is very expressive. I love her. She's very, very good. I wonder if Lex knew that Lena was a witch because he didn't seem surprised about it. I mean, he's from the future. So, yeah. I did like Kara's speech to Lena about how she and the Super Friends were her family now. Yeah. You're not alone. But, it's interesting how she would go from, like, Kara in the past would say stuff like, you have me. I always have your back. You're my BFF. I love you, Lena. To, you got all of us. We have your back. We. They're stressing more of the we unit now instead of just the her and Lena thing, which is interesting. Alex was clearly only thinking about Kelly and vice versa. True. So now Esme is a living totem. Yep. Is this the last totem? I don't know. I thought there were 7. Didn't we only just see 4? I don't know. No, there should be 3 totems left. Yeah, I think there's 7 total. How are they going to put Kara and Superman and Lois if she goes to the future? I mean, she can pop up, but would that affect the timeline? Depends on when in the timeline they put her in Superman and Lois. Because right now they've got some story going on simultaneously. So her future going off with Mon-El does not affect her going to see them in Smallville. This could be prior to that. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. The problem that I've always had with Arrowverse is time, the timeline, the way people do things, establish heroes in the universe that were never established for us, but yet they don't make sense given their age. Like, how are you going to have like Superman in Smallville, who I guess is in his late 30s, early 40s, but then you got like Aquaman established on Bruce's timeline and making it seem like Aquaman was part of a Justice League with Bruce, but not with Superman. It doesn't make sense since this Superman is in the current Justice League. Where are all the other Justice Leaguers? Like, are they just, you see what I'm saying? Like, are they Young Justice? And then the previous one, the JSL, I don't know where the original JSL is. If there was a JSL, they have not established a damn thing in this damn universe. Nothing. They just throw out Easter eggs about different superheroes, and then you hear nothing about it. And these superheroes don't give a damn about saving the Earth. When Crisis on Infinite Poop happened, none of these superheroes came forward. None of them were doing anything. I mean, it does not make a lick of sense. So the Arrowverse is a very convoluted problem in terms of timeline. So Supergirl could pop up in Smallville, pre-Phantom Zone, pre-all of this shit, and we would never know because we don't know what timeline Superman and Lois is on in concurrence with Supergirl. So it's all stupid. Hi, Ito. How are you? I'm glad you got to sleep in. I thought Eve Tessmacher was meant to be in this season. I know she had a baby. Maybe something happened and with COVID. I don't know. Oh no, wait. Bixel has the dream and hope totem, and you mean Nixley has the dream and hope totem, and the Super Friends have courage, humanity, and humanity. So that means there are 2 left to find. Well, the love totem would be, so let's see. So if Nixley has the hope totem and the courage totem, that's 2. And then they have the humanity totem. That's 3. They wanted to get the love totem. What was the other one that they had? No, they have the humanity totem only, I thought. No, they had 2 totems. I don't know. At this point, I'm tired of totems. I got tired of totems on Legends of Tomorrow. I'm sick of them. I don't talk about totems anymore. 6/19 and 6/20 were aired on the same night. Okay, so it'll be a double. Gotcha. Hi, Nicholas. How are you? It's been a minute. CW doesn't seem to be very competent when it comes to world building. No, they do not. They are not. It all boggles my mind that Bruce Wayne practically doesn't exist. Yep. Absolutely. Let's see. Sorry, I just jumped one. It really isn't. It's just the Easter eggs about a character or place them. Bam, nothing more said or done about it. Yeah, like when they dropped Aquaman dropped Aquaman's name in Batwoman last week. When the girl who became one of the victims of Killer Croc was like, "Well, you don't have to have abs. You're not Aquaman." And that's like already established that Aquaman is in the Batwoman Prime Earth universe, but where? Where the hell is Aquaman? Like I said, I can't. I cannot. I just can't. All right. So now we're going to talk about Legends of Tomorrow, 100th episode. This really was the Let's Save Gideon ep. We did get to see a bunch of people. Like we got Hawkman. We did not get Hawk Girl. I guess they couldn't get her to come back. I really want to know why she left. Was it under tense or like nefarious circumstances? Like, was there drama? I want to know why she left the show, because she didn't come back for the 100th episode. So that's interesting. But so basically, Spooner and Astra are trying to get to the Legends, because if they can find Davies before the Legends, they can save the Legends. They stop at this like farm in Texas right before Spooner shows off the ability to read the sun for time and location, basically annoying the hell out of Astra. But Astra sees a strawberry rhubarb pie and she wants to eat it because she's hungry. And she's like, "That's my favorite pie." So, she's telling Gideon to go steal it. And Gideon's like, "Well, I don't think I should do that," because basically the pie is meant to win a state fair championship. And so they'd be breaking a timeline or a time rule. And so Spooner's like, "You are basically you're human now. You can do whatever you want." And so because she had those choices, she like short circuits and passes out because she's like, "I need to help the Legends get sustenance, but no, I can't. But yes, I can. But no, I can't. But yes, I can." And then she just like passes out. Well, then we learn that the reason that she's not waking up is because she has a virus. So Astra casts a spell to go into her mind, but they can only be brought out by Gideon. So basically, if Spooner and Astra cannot bring her out, they're stuck in her unconscious, comatose mind. But Spooner does actually volunteer to go with Astra to help, which I thought, I love them. I love their little BFF-ness. I love Astra and Spooner's friendship. I think it's really adorable. So they get there, and of course, they find Jax, who is sporting a British accent, which if you know anything, in real life, his actor is actually from England, so not hard to do. But that's how Gideon sees him. For some reason, Gideon has always, I guess, seen Jax with a British accent. I mean, that's what I took from that. And he's trying to fix Gideon, which tracks because he was the very first mechanic the Legends had. So I did think that was cool. But he starts saying that there's something's happening to Gideon. They're the temporal realm, and Gideon is still a supercomputer, but she doesn't have her memories that make her her. And so Aster's like, but she's still a really smart functioning computer. So let's just grab her and go. And then, Spinner's like, no, we want our Gideon. So that basically leads them to go through this whole, they've done it in Charmed. They've done it in Back to the Future. They've done it in so many, like Doctor Who. Let's go back in all these different memories and time and try and save Gideon. And because they do that, then we get to see like all of the past legends. Like we get to see Ray, we saw Hawkman, we saw Dr. Free. Interestingly enough, we did not see Mick. I don't know if anyone caught that. Because he was in the original legends as well. So why Rory wasn't there, I don't know. I was really questioning that the whole time. Why wouldn't Rory be in it? He is supposed to do cameos. Why couldn't he be in 100? Why would Rory not be in the 100th episode of Legends? Because if you really think about it, outside of the last, 4 or 5, maybe 6 episodes this season, he's been in every episode of Legends. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Why didn't they get Wally? Because Wally was in it for a millisecond, I mean, there's so many. They got Nora. They didn't get Wally. It's just interesting who they were able to get in the 100th episode. So I just had to say something about that, because I felt like Rory just seemed like kind of harsh because I mean, he should have been able to celebrate the 100th episode of Legends of Tomorrow. But that's a thing. But anyway, we got Stein back, and it's basically him singing. One of the memories I have is him singing about being a grandfather. And Gideon's actress has the most beautiful voice. I love her voice. She was singing a lot in this, and I loved it. I felt bad for Sarah because there's a point where Sarah had to sing karaoke, and I'm like, and then Gideon kind of takes over. I'm like, Sarah, we sorry, baby, but this is why you're a hip hop dancer. You'll be okay. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that we didn't get to physically see Rory in that. But yeah, basically Gideon's counterpart of herself is treating itself like a virus to basically reboot her into evolving into what she should be. Because we learned that Rick actually changed her programming from prioritizing the timeline to protecting the legends, because Gideon didn't really accept the legends originally. Which is, it is what it is. This was not a plot heavy. This really wasn't. This was not a plot involved episode. All of this was basically wrapped around Gideon, which I'm not complaining. The only little side story we saw was Bishop. And I'm going to tell you guys, Bishop gets on he just gets on my nerves so bad. This is a character that is just really he didn't get spanked as a child as well. And so he just does shit. And it's just very problematic, and it messes up a lot of people's stuff. And I feel like he just needs to be spanked. But basically it's Ava launch day. He's having all of these visions of the alien creatures that we saw, that like basically one of the ones that killed Sarah, the original Sarah body. And then he's like, you know what? I'm just going to find these people and kill them. Let's just kill the legend. So he ends up, long story short, he couldn't stop Gideon from evolving and becoming who she is. So he's like, but you're a computer, so I'm just going to reset you. So he resets Gideon. I don't know how this is going to affect the Gideon we have now, because she's gotten all her memories back. She was able to, accept the other Gideon part of herself. And then when she did that by embracing it, which I wonder if that's the consciousness that got erased. I don't know. Because the Gideon in there is like, I don't want to forget, please. I don't want to, I don't want to forget. But it's just so. Bishop is just an a-hole. Like I said, I really do not like Bishop. And I really like Gideon. I like the idea of a human AI Gideon running around and traveling with the legends. I thought that was really cool. I'm sure the actress would have loved that because she would have been in it more. She does the voiceover, but she would have been able to physically be in it more. I love her. I love how cute she is. I love how she said, I always wanted to go on, what she said, I always wanted to go on adventures with the legends, but I wanted to go on Westerns. And I'm like, I want to see you go on a Western adventure too. But because of Bishop, we probably will not get this because he is effing stuff up. And I mean, Bishop gets on my effing nerves. But again, getting to see Katie back in her white canary suit and having Astra and Spinner be like, why is she wearing white suede? And Astra saying, yeah, I mean, stains, it's like, it's just kind of funny to me. Like, I love how they rip on shit. Last week, I believe they were ripping on the Paragons. Like, what is a Paragon? Like, trust me, we don't know either. And this week is ripping on her white canary costume, which I thought was funny. Yeah, it's very cool. It was cool to see everybody, but again, this was not very plot heavy at all. It was just basically Gideon's adventure and Astra and Spooner getting to basically be familiarized with the previous legends. And that's what it is. I will say the ironic part of the end of that episode for me was that Gideon decided to break the timeline and steal that damn pie. She's like, what's a pie for the road? I'm like, damn. So she's very clearly not caring. That right there is an indicator that she really clearly does not care about preserving the timeline. She only cares about preserving the legends by stealing that pie. That should go against everything logically in her. So I thought that was really interesting. And we got to learn that, like the Enterprise, yes, hear me, guys, the original blueprint for the Starship Enterprise in Star Trek only had one bathroom that was for the public. Now, you had them in your quarters, but they only had one bathroom on that whole damn ship. You can check it. It is valid. It is funny. So the Wave Rider is the same. They have one effing bathroom for everybody. So instead of having them in their room, they have one bathroom in general on the whole damn ship. And I think that is funny as hell, especially since that could have been something that would have been in Rip's room, if you really think about it, because it was only him and Gideon. So that means they would have had to physically go into whoever is in that room's bedroom to use the bathroom all the time. And I think that's actually really funny to me. So yeah, that was Legends 100th episode. In a nutshell, not bad, not plot heavy, very Gideon focused, showed off her singing ability. I liked it. Let's see. Gideon, a true legend. She stole the pie and changed the timeline. Yep. I'm also thinking of writing a Teen Titans fanfic, but instead of focusing on the heroes, the Titans, and the League, we focus on the former members of Hive, delving into the consequences. You need to write. You're gonna be writing a lot, Nicholas. Like, seriously, you should submit all of your fanfics to the CW. Make sure you watermark them and see if they use any of your plots. I think that the concept of episode could have been handled better. I agree. Also, the Wave Rider only has one bathroom. Yep. Also, Gideon is a legend now. Well, we don't know that now. She isn't. She is one until Bishop reset her at the end. We don't know what kind of effect that's going to have on her. So I'm confused as hell on how that's going to work. Because this is past Bishop, who is not future Bishop, but still has the memories of future Bishop in past. It's so confusing. Oh, so confusing. But wasn't that a copy of Gideon, not the OG one? We see that we don't know. Because I mean, if she accepts her other Gideon self, is she connected to all the Gideons? Because Bishop is connected to all of his future and other bishops, that haven't even happened yet. So the same could be said for her. So, I mean, these are all valid questions. I fell into a very deep like with Gideon. Yeah, I get that. She is a very sweet character. I love her. When I saw Bishop, I wanted to scream. Eclipso was a liar. I was happy we got rid of him and he's back. I know, I'm so tired of him. I felt bad for AI Gideon. I did too. The scene with AI Gideon and human Gideon reminded me of a plot line from G. Roddenberry's Andromeda. Yeah, I could see that. Also reminds me of Robot and Human Penny in Ruby. Stein's banana boat is easily my most favorite moment in the entire Legends franchise. Yeah, I love Stein. Legend, like I said, Legends is meant to be silly. It's not meant to be taken seriously. It's always meant to be silly. When you take Legends seriously, you are doing yourself an disjustice, or an injustice, should I say? Disjustice, I'm tired. The injustice is that you are literally trying to make sense of what is never supposed to be made sense of to begin with. Yes, they throw in like they throw in these little nuggets of like political messages, and they throw in all the things that people scream agenda, but they do it in such a creative way that you don't realize it's happening. And so that's why I like Legends. Legends makes a point. They're not beating you over the head with it. It's a valid point. It makes sense. And then they move on. And they don't dwell on all the shit we see in Batwoman and other series because they don't have to. And I like that. I don't know. I really, really enjoy. It's a lighthearted version of a comic, and I like it. And even though this is not a valid comic in sense of it was never based on a comic book, I really wish they had a comic for Legends of Tomorrow. I would love to have seen how this. And then you know what? I say that they might actually have adapted one by now. I mean, especially IDW. I don't know. I haven't checked, but all I know is that this series makes me laugh. And Legends does not disappoint. Every episode is on crack, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Rory was passed out drunk, but I'm drunk, but bet that was a stump double. Yeah, like I said, I don't understand why Rory's actor would not have been in it at all. It makes no sense. Mentioning him, even if they said something like, "Oh, well, he's been drinking, he's in his room doing whatever," I just really feel like it's a missed opportunity for somebody who's dedicated so much of their life to be in Legends of Tomorrow to not let them be in the 100th episode. That's just really weird. Even in a flashback scene, that's just very, very weird for me. So I don't know why he wasn't there. That's just me. I'm just kind of going over a couple of more. There's a clip going around from Ava Durrani about why WB canceled her New Gods movie. They weren't interested in pursuing characters connected to a certain movie, e.g. Snyder. Wow. I didn't know it was actually canceled. Wow. Well then. Legends could bring the feels when it wanted to. Yeah. Like I said there, but you can't take the show seriously. Of course you're going to have loss. That's part of life. They have all of the circle of life moments. They have happiness, tragedy, grief, sadness, all of that. But you cannot take them seriously in the long run because it's Legends. Like they are just completely out of their minds, and I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, one more comment. I hope Ava gets to use the New Gods in Naomi. It's right up Granny Goodness's alley for a potential recruit. I'd love to see Big Barda appear. Oh my gosh, I would too. She's one of Ava's favorite comic book characters. I don't blame her. I love Big Barda too. I always wish they had made her queer instead of marrying her off to a man though. But, whatever. Whatever. All right. Let me sip some more tea before we move on to Batwoman. Sadly, besides the minuscule Poison Ivy moment and the Dr. Freeze wife reference with her sister, everything that happened in this episode, I basically told you was going to happen last season. Everything. When I told you my Series 3 theory on Batwoman, I said exactly what the hell they were going to do. Exactly for effing Beta what the hell they were going to do on Batwoman. What did I tell you, people? They were going to make Sophie a what? Bat chaser. Who's she chasing? Ryan. So therefore, this episode for me has started the overall conclusion that Ron Wilder is a pseudonym for Black Kate Kane because she's Black Kate Kane. She is Black Kate Kane. She is the CEO of Wayne Industries. She also was running the club that Kate started and founded. She lives in Kate's old loft with Mary. She is BFFs with Luke. Actually prioritizes, Luke over Mary and is now treating Mary the same way that Kate used to treat Mary in season 1 as a secondhand citizen. She also is Batwoman, has the cow, has the same drama with Alice, and now she's about to be fucking her girl. So I'm just saying. Kate Kane did not leave. I'm just glad that I was right. Because I was getting so many people coming at me, especially on other social media accounts saying, yeah, you just don't like it when a black woman gets ahead. Motherfucker, I am part black. Stop. I am not going to support blackness and stupidity together. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. This is not representation. I think everybody like me who's part black or fully black should be offended as hell that this shit is being actually lauded as representation for black people. It is not. It is effing not. It is unbelievable as shit. This girl was a damn felon, and now she's the CEO of Wayne Industries with the board not saying shit. She's acting CEO of a company she isn't even qualified to effing run. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm sorry. This show is so stupid. It drives me absolutely out of my mind. So let's just talk about Batwoman. So the beginning of this, we have to understand that there are actual things happening in Gotham. There are museum Batman artifacts out there that are harming people. But that takes a back seat to the drama that is Ryan Wilder's life, because she has to figure out why mommy didn't want her anymore. And mommy didn't want her anymore because mommy did some shit or got pregnant by somebody. She apparently had a damn affair with somebody and she gave your ass up. Bam. What's to understand? What is to understand? If somebody told me my mother paid $2 million to lie and say she was dead on my birth certificate, guess what I would think in my mind? She didn't want me. Mama did something. Mama shady. Maybe I'm better off not knowing. Maybe I'm better off being with myself, finding my own. Your family is who you make. I do not understand. I do not understand why this heifer. I'm sorry. Angry grandma's out. Why do you keep going up to this woman when she even told you in this episode, I don't want a relationship with you. I want nothing to do with you. What is wrong with you? Focus on being Batwoman. Do not focus on being Kate. I'm sorry, Ryan. But yeah, we had to have this whole woe is me situation where she's like, I just don't understand why she gave me up. And then she got really in her feelings when she met her brother. And her brother's like, hey, I want a partner. Well, first, when I first saw them together, I thought he was flirting with her because I'm gonna tell you, Javicia Leslie is hot, and she's got that big round booty in that damn dress too. I got to throw it out. She was flaunting that ass in that episode. This is my queerness talking. So now we would not kick Javicia Leslie out of bed. I'm just saying that when her brother first saw her, I thought he was hitting on her. Because Steve, he was like, he was like, it was like he was checking her out. And I'm like, well, that's problematic. Because it seemed like the mother didn't want him to know about her at all. So that was a very interesting and weird situation. And then we learned that he's the vice president of his mother's company. And apparently he was supposed to be out of town. It's what he's trying to do is he's trying to basically show his mother that he can be, I guess, successful without her, because it seems like right now he feels like a glorified vice president in name only. And he's not actually invited to any of the meetings or actually allowed to do mostly anything or make decisions on his own. So it's a thing. So, his name is Marcus. And so Jada decided to keep him. And later he figures out that is his sister without him saying anything. He goes to Wayne Tower and talks to her. And, he's like, I want to work with you. He's like, literally like, where's my office going to be? And I'm like, what the hell? What is this? It's just so much of this episode was like a soap opera. Like what is the Young and the Restless or the Bold and whatever. Like, I feel like that's what's in this episode. It's like, who did mama have an affair with? Why did mama not want me? Why did she give me up? Why did she fake her death on my birth certificate? Oh, I got a brother, blah, 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 whatever. Like, I don't care. I absolutely don't care. I don't have a problem with Robin Givens playing Jada. I don't have a problem with her being Ryan's mother. I just don't want it to be 80% of the damn episode. So, what the fuck ever. So let's talk about the other stuff, because we should. So Mary and Alice are together. Alice is having issues with the nanobots in her body. She wants them out. So she fakes being sick. Of course, Mary takes her back to the clinic and is checking her out. And Alice gets into Mary's head saying, you're not really part of the team. They only really think about you when they need something from you, which is really true. Mary is actually very, very underutilized and treated like shit. and there's something wrong when in the first season, you were pretty much brushed off and not told shit in the first season by your dad, your adopted sister, and even your mom. And now with the new Batwoman, it's the same damn situation. And so it ends up, Mary basically she sings like a canary on Luke, saying, I should have never cleared you because you have PTSD and you turned off the failsafe of your suit. She said this. And what does Ryan do? Ryan says, but is that true, Luke? And Luke's like, no, I can handle it. And she's like, well, that's good enough for me. Well, Mary, stay in your lane. I'm like, she's a damn doctor. You guys, woo. Oh, Lord. And then Luke got in his feelings, was like, how dare you? Why'd you have to, why'd you snitch? That's what he was like. And so now he's mad at Mary. And I'm going to be real with you guys. Because Mary gets basically taken by poison ivy vines at the end of the episode, just dragged through the bushes in the broad daylight in a park full of people and nobody noticed. I don't think Ryan's going to notice and Luke are going to notice that she's missing it all, because that's what they do. She is literally the character nobody gives a shit about, which is sad because she's the only Asian and they're treating her like the token Asian of the show. So, which is interesting. It's normally the token black character. Now we got a more predominantly black cast, and now she's the token Asian. I think it's funny. It's really sad, but it's really funny. So yeah, the whole thing with Mary's journey, I think is about to get real. And I have a feeling that she may be controlled by poison ivy, but we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But I will say the whole thing between Luke and her, that was kind of messed up. Luke is actually an a-hole a lot this season. I'm just putting it out there. As much as I like Batwing, as much as I like Luke Fox in the comics, sometimes he does get on my nerves and you just want to smack the shit out of him sometimes. So it's a thing. I don't know if that's a portrayal of the actor or not, but it's a thing. So the little minute part of this story, and I'm saying this because it should be the biggest part of the story, is Gotham officials are basically saying that Victor Frieza's freezing agent, which is like the liquid nitrogen, is causing issues. So this kid finds basically a vial that has in it, and it causes a bus to freeze with them on it. Now, I saw people getting off the bus with blankets around them, so I'm assuming they didn't die, which is interesting because they should have been killed. The kids, especially because they were in such close contact to liquid nitrogen, should have been killed. But at least to the point of hyperthermia where they're in the hospital, not walking off the bus. So that was really interesting. But then we realized that Mr. Freezer's wife is released after, I think it's 20 years, because remember she was diagnosed with McGregor disease. I really wonder if that's a real disease. I never really looked it up because my mother's maiden name is McGregor. So I didn't want to be linked to a disease that's bad. But I mean, it could be. But apparently they found a cure for it and she was administered the cure and then they released her. But she's still sick. And that's because all of the aging that she didn't do, because I think when she came out, she was like 37. She's been aging in days. Like she's like senior citizen at this point. And at some point she's going to die. And her sister, Dee, who she basically breaks into the evidence room at GCPD to get the technology to use the machine to, because they need the liquid nitrogen cocktail to put her sister back in until she can figure out how to stop her from dying. But Then, of course, we have some people who are hired by a client come in and they want the machine for themselves. So they tell Dia, we're going to kill your sister if you don't help us. And yeah, long story short with this, Batwoman shows up alone with no backup and gets stuck in the machine or put in the machine because when she was fighting, so there's a girl who looks very familiar to me and has the weirdest face. I mean, she's pretty, but she has these weird facial expressions. Well, she was fighting, and then some of the goons were fighting, and Ryan did this thing that they tell you not to do in fighting, like even in martial arts, which is weird because again, she's a martial arts instructor, and that is not to turn your back on your enemy. She hit this person. She did not knock this person out. She turned her back, took the two goons out, and just stood there for a second, and the girl just hit her ass and then put her in the chamber. And you know what? That's your problem. Like that's on you. And that's how I look at that. Mm-mm. And so she gets put in the chamber and she's going through hypothermia. And it looks like has to make a choice between going and finding Dee's sister because they don't know where she is. And she actually just happens to be with Mary, and we'll get to that in a minute. Or going to find Ryan and helping her. And if they don't help her, if she falls asleep or passes out, then she's going to freeze to death and die. So, of course, Sophie is talking to her and she's like, I'm mad at you because I'm the one that, went out and found your mother for you, but you didn't even come to me to talk to me about your feelings. And I'm like, I said, please don't let this go where this is going. So long story short, they are able to get Ryan out and then she gets into the Batmobile and then they're going to go find, the people to get basically the liquid nitrogen back. Well, while they're in the car, even Luke notices that Ryan is flirting with Sophie. And she is. She starts complimenting her. And then, Luke's like, are you flirting with Sophie? She's like, no. And they're talking. And then Sophie's like, oh, you're still on comms. And then she hits Luke. And then when they're on the bridge, they manage to make a big explosion, the villains that are getting away, to blow up a section of the bridge. And of course, Batwing flies up and uses the liquid nitrogen to make an ice bridge. And then, Ryan, who apparently at this point now has complete control over the Batmobile and can use every function, even though last season we were told she didn't even know how to drive it very well. And Luke had to drive it for her. Whatever. She modifies it or basically changes the tread on the tires for ice. Like ice mode tires, I guess. And she starts driving across the ice bridge. And then she's like, what do you think about that? That's, that's badass, basically, or something like that. And then Sophie's like, yeah, it's fine. And she's like, we are one hard woman to impress. And then you see Sophie smiling. And I'm like, hell no. Hell no. And then, basically they get Dee back, but the Mr. Freeze's instructions on how to use a machine end up going with the creepy girl and her goons to their boss, whoever paid them, which probably is Jada. I mean, I can't think of anybody else. It's probably Jada. Unless they're bringing like somebody like Mr. Penguin or somebody in, or Mr. Freeze himself. I don't know. But so the episode basically ended with Mary giving medicine to Nora to keep her, basically to sustain her, to help her with the pain and breathing. And Nora basically being outside saying, I want to breathe with what time I have left with my lungs, real air. And then, of course, Mary gets snatched by poison ivy vines in front of everybody. Nobody really pays attention because, again, I feel like nobody sees her. She's not really there. She's the original Invisible Woman of the DC universe. It is Mary. And then, of course, Ryan, basically talking to Sophie about her mom and, her prioritizing the team first and blah, blah, blah. But then we see a preview for next week. We don't see Mary at all because she's even invisible to the trailers. And then, of course, we have nothing but, like, I shit you not. Apparently, Ryan is going to be, I think if I read the synopsis too, because I had to go read it, is going to be nominated for an award or given an award for the one of the top 30 under 30 faces. It's great to go from a villain to acting CEO of a company you're not qualified to run, and the board has no problem with this, and they're winning awards. And apparently you have money now. Okay. And then throughout the trailer, they say that, like, I don't know who this woman is that Sophie's talking to, but she's basically saying, oh, you see how hot Ryan is to Sophie, and like, you guys make a great team, and blah blah blah, implying that they should be a couple, and they even look like they were holding hands. I'm like, I can't handle this shit. It is effing stupid. So yeah, I'm just. So that's the whole Sophie Ryan thing. I told you guys this was gonna fucking happen. I told you this. So, and the only other element is Alice. Alice was there. The only thing she did was, again, make Mary see that she's invisible. She tried to take Nora hostage to get the nanobots out. That didn't work because Nora was like, just kill me. I don't care. She's like, it's no fun when you volunteer. And then they took her back to her cell, I guess, for holding, and she's literally seeing the nanobots in her arm. I don't know what the hell that's about. So yeah, in a nutshell, if you really think about how funny this is, Kate's gone to find Batman. She's, Bruce Wayne. So she's MIA. She got run out of town, like voluntarily left her girlfriend, who apparently they could not have been in love that much because Sophie's already over it a week later. And then let's see, Jacob's in jail. Mary's invisible. And Alice, who technically Mary does call her sister, is also being treated like shit. So everybody at the Hamilton and Kane family have been like tossed out that way. And now we have Black Kate Kane and Luke running the show. This is why I bring tea, guys. Calm angry grandma down. I watch this shit for you guys. I really do. When this show comes on, I don't watch it when it airs. I watch it on DVR so I can speed through it, fast forward, because if I didn't have the ability to speed through this shit, I would be bald. I cannot stand this show. I can't stand it. I cannot stand it because it is written so badly. I told you the two ways of it I would have accepted this shit are as followed. They made Sophie Batwoman as an homage to her fallen girlfriend. And then her girlfriend comes back and says, hey, I know I trust you more than anybody. You can carry this. And then she carries it. And Sophie actually pays attention to Mary. And so I would have been completely okay with this situation. Sophie was on the show from the beginning. I would have had no problem with this. If they had to have Ryan Wilder, have Ryan effing Wilder. Do not have a Black Cat, Kate Kane. Have her, and I've said this a million times, bring her in as a burned out GCPD detective. That way she had a connection to GCPD, everybody, Gordon, Renee Montoya, all of this shit. The reason that she hates Alice is not because her adopted mom was killed by her Wonderland gang when Alice wasn't even in the damn room. No, it's because Alice physically killed her partner who tried to stop her. And maybe that effed her up and made her hate Alice forever. And then to add on to that, maybe this partner was one of Ryan's lovers. And maybe they were connected. Maybe they were going to get married. That adds more beef to this story than the shit they have right now. And then have her, when she left GCPD because of corruption in GCPD, which makes sense because it's corrupted in the comic books, that she started a private investigative type, situation. And she came across. Maybe they hired her to find out what happened to Kate Kane, and that's how she found the damn bat suit. And then she went back to them and said, you hired me to find your sister, but what the hell is this? And then they had to let her in. That would have made more fucking sense to me. Not the shit they did now, because they can't effing write. So yeah. So now I'm going to look at your questions because I'm done talking about this shit. I'm tired. I don't like talking about this. I need a crisis to revamp this whole damn show. I can't. Moving up. Sorry, there's a lot of comments, and I wasn't looking at them. Okay, I think this may be. Is this the first one? No, no, it's not. I love how most of these comments are about Batwoman. Woo. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is the first comment. Yes. Yes, on a Saturday, guys. On an effing Saturday, she had to come out. Batwoman is just ... shit. Absolutely right, Levi. I'm also thinking about revamping the character Power Boy since we just thrown an empath new god since his history is albeit douchey and overall underrated. Like I said, you need to make outlines for this stuff, Nicholas. Girl, Batwoman made you drink your tea like Wendy Williams. Yep. Oh, trust me, I'm gonna drink this whole damn thing. All of it. Anyone with the Batwoman costume is fair game. I'm telling you, they made Sophie so damn slutty. I hate to say it that way. But like, think about it from my perspective. Just think about it. Look at it for what it was. If you watched all of season 1 and you watched season 2 and you're watching this shit, she went from being gaga over Kate, but being married to a man because she was in the closet, to getting out of the closet and then being gaga over Batwoman, who she didn't know was Kate, and then dating Julia, who actually happened to be in the Batwoman suit for, helping Kate out because, Jacob started to suspect maybe Kate was Batwoman, and so did Sophie. So they had to have somebody dress up in, and show Ruby Rose's version of Kate, separate from Batwoman. So Julia wore that suit, and she had a relationship with Julia, and now Ryan's in the suit, and she's gonna be effing her too. So Sophie's whole point is to get laid by Batwoman. She's a very smart and intelligent woman, gorgeous. Would have been in my perspective, a kick-ass Batwoman. She would have been very good. She was trained the same as Ruby's character, Kate Kane. I'm saying Ruby's Kate Kane because Wallace, different Kate Kane, but if you look at how they were both trained the same, both were proficient fighters, very good marksmen, she would have been very effing believable as somebody who trained enough to be Batwoman. I'm 5'5". I have to assume that Javicia Leslie is either 5'4", 5'3", or 5'2". She looks short as hell when she fights people, by the way. Not saying that that's a prerequisite. You don't have to be tall, but it's just so weird to have this commanding suit and she's so short and she's fighting these guys. I'm used to my Batwoman being this big, like Amazonian, almost statuesque woman. And we miss out with Wallace. We missed that with Ruby. And we just don't get that. But with Sophie, we would have gotten that because she's tall. Like, she was perfect. I feel like they're just dumb at the CW. I don't know what it is. It's like they don't think. They don't use critical thinking effing skills when they develop these shows. It's dumb. I don't know. All of it's just stupid to me. It's just stupid. Good cliffhanger, though, with Mary. Yeah, but I mean, the problem is, will we get it? Will we get more of Mary's stuff? I mean, she might show up and she'll be like a millisecond, but we can't have Mary's story because we're too busy having As the World Turns with freaking, Ryan and her mother, Jada. So it's stupid. Bat Chaser. Hashtag 100%. Yeah, I back you now. They have basically made Kate. That's it. That's why they didn't need to get Kate. They already made her. All they did was they did a reverse Lois Lane. Remember Lois Lane changed herself to be black for a day? Well, they made Kate Kane black for the rest of the series. So that's what it is. They gave Ryan a solid foundation in season 2. They sidelined her for the entirety of that season, and now they're erasing her originality. Well, I'm going to challenge you there. They gave her a flimsy foundation in season 2. They brought her in as somebody who lives in a van with a plant, who was arrested. Number one, arrested unfairly, but then she told Luke that she was actually taking her drugs away from Angelina and running them out so she couldn't get them in the house, and got pulled over by crows while she was walking. And they found drugs on her person, which means if they found you carrying drugs, it doesn't matter they're not your drugs. You can't prove that they're not. You were basically arrested for carrying drugs. That is not an invalid reason to be arrested. So they couldn't even get that shit right. So her backstory is flimsy as shit. And I like my backstory for Ryan a hell of a lot better, even though it doesn't exist. And you're right. They can't really erase originality when they don't have originality to effing begin with. That's how I feel about that. In Batwoman's defense, Sophie has way more chemistry with Ryan. Sophie and Kate had zero chemistry, and that's something I felt. But she had very strong chemistry with Wallace Day's Kate. They had chemistry. And what's interesting is I was looking at Wallace Day and Megan's, I think her name is Megan, who plays Sophie's. I was looking at their Instagrams, and they are really good friends. And like those two and and Mary's actress all went on vacation together. Oh, and Alice went with them too. I don't think Javicia went with them, which is interesting, but they actually communicate with Wallace Day even now, and she's not even on the show. And I mean, they just when you click with people, it's really easy to work with. You know, you can see the chemistry because they generally like each other in real life. So I don't know. I think her and Wallace Day's Kate Kane would have been epically good. But I do agree with you. It's hard to have chemistry with Ruby Rose because she's so wooden. So I get that. I was watching another live stream where another reviewer named Peggy pointed out that Ryan is basically a black version of Kate Kane. I've been saying it since last season. Like, you can look at the videos. Like, I said she was going to end up I said Ryan was going to end up with Sophie. I told you guys that this shit was going to happen. Rate of this week's episode out of 10, a 0. They may as well make Sophie Batgirl and give us the gay Batman and Batgirl relationship. They won't. They won't do anything right on this series. I'm so glad I dropped this show last season. I'm glad that I can sacrifice my sanity for you, Kevin, so you can get the reviews you need. I don't get why some people are so oblivious to the issues of this show, because as POCs, we want to support other POCs. We really do. And people don't understand that you not supporting something that it's the first ever Arrowverse, potentially ever, TV version of a black female-led TV show. And people want to have that. People need that. Because Black Lightning technically was the star of his show. Yes, his daughters had superpowers, but they didn't lead that show. But this is the first time a black woman is in a comic book role as the main character leading a show. That's till Naomi comes. And I get the protectiveness of wanting to have that. As a POC, I get it. But you can't accept garbage because you don't have enough representation. It's the same as being queer. Whenever I see queer stories that are just full of shit and toxic, I can't just swallow this garbage because we don't have a lot of representation. It's bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm never going to be that person. So that is not this channel, and that is not who I am. So I can't. And unfortunately, these people, they will fight you to the tooth and nail. They will come at you. They will call you every name in the book. They will get in their feelings to the part where it's extremely toxic and threaten your life over a damn TV show. And that is the problem. That they can't see past the fact that Javicia Leslie, very beautiful black actress in a lead role, is in a show that's written like garbage. They can't see it. They just can't. It's not progress if old and tired stereotypes are continuously propagated. I absolutely agree with that. Wayne Industries without Bruce Wayne. I don't. This tea is called English tea time. It is decaf because I can't have caffeine. I'm allergic. But I am very much my mother's daughter. I inherited the British love of tea, and it does calm me down. And I have to drink it whenever I talk about Batwoman. It's why my stream was a little late. I knew if I didn't have this tea, I might break my camera. So Wayne Industries, obviously their board doesn't exist anymore. That's the only thing I can think of. Supergirl has bad writing, but at least I can enjoy the show. Batwoman, though, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, I feel the same way. Also, there's going to be a love triangle between Ryan, Sophie, and someone else. Yeah, it's going to be Renee. It's going to be Ryan, Sophie, and Renee Montoya. Let's think about how messed up this is. And I don't know if it's going to be Sophie with Renee now, which I think it is, or if it's going to be Ryan trying to figure out if she likes Sophie or Renee Montoya. If Sophie and Renee Montoya are screwing each other, that means both of Kate's ex-girlfriends from the comics are into each other. If they just bring Maggie in, and yes, I'm talking about Alex's Maggie, because in the comics, she's actually older and blonde. But still with GCPD. But this is the one, like Maggie was the one that Kate really almost married in the comics. And actually, I think they're getting back together in the comics. We'll have to go ahead and check that. But that's like the love of her life. So Alex's Maggie from Supergirl is actually Kate Kane's love. And so if Sophie got with Renee Montoya, who Kate was with a long time, and then got with Maggie, all of her girlfriends would be screwing each other. And actually, Kate Kane also was banging Sophia. It wasn't Beth that she was in love with. It was Kate in the comics. So, yeah. All this shit. Problematic as hell. Problematic. So Sophie and Renee being together on any level is two exes banging each other. And the reason for me, even though it's not been established that Kate was with Renee in the CW version or Arrowverse, the problem for me is I can't unsee the stereotype of every lesbian couple that knows other lesbian couples and other lesbians all sleep with each other. Because that's literally what that is. And the fact that the showrunner is a lesbian pisses me off because there's so many stereotypes. So many stereotypes that she's just allowing to happen across the board. And it's irritating as fuck. Like I said, Ryan is Kate Kane and a different rapper. And I'm honestly offended that Ryan can't have her own story. Yep, her own life outside of Kate. Like, I don't know who the writers don't or why they don't see the optics. They're proud of it. I'm sure they're like, yay. Yay. We got Kate Kane. We made her black. I'm like, I'm just going to stab myself in the eyeball. Also, Sophie without the crows, Jacob or Kate, right now she serves no point. Exactly. When Kate told her in season finale of season 2, I'm going off to find Bruce Wayne. I guess we have our timing wrong. I'm like, no, you don't. This bitch don't have a job. She'll have any reason to stay here. I'm like, she could go with you on your journey. If she really loved you, Kate Kane, she would have been like, take me with you, baby. I got your back. It's me and you to the end. You're alive. I wanted you to alive. I would do anything to have you alive. And now that you're here, oh, wait, you want to leave? No, I got to go sit here and get with Ryan. My bad. That's literally what happened. That's literally what happened. We all know the show was we all knew this show wasn't shit when Batman left Gotham and his villains didn't come out of the woodwork to have a party and take over Gotham. I know, right? Like, that is very true. Because that bitch on the radio says it all the time. She just announces stuff all the time. Also, it almost feels like the show forgot that Ryan had an adopted mother. That's because it's not Ryan, it's Kate Kane. Also, I bet Ryan's birth mom is actually evil. Why not? That's part of the soap opera lore, right? I think there was some tension on the Batwoman set last season. Wallace Day and Javicia don't follow each other on Instagram. It would be understandable if Javicia didn't support Kate coming back. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I do think it's interesting then if Wallace Day, if Mary's actress and Sophie's actress and Alice's actress all follow Wallace Day and they all hang out with her. Do they actually still mention Javicia Leslie on their Instagram stories or Instagram accounts? That's something you should really see. That's interesting. I'm hoping that we're not having another diva situation like apparently people are saying what happened with Ruby Rose. The one thing I will say about Ruby Rose, though, I can believe that she was difficult to work with. The reason I can believe that, even though I am not on that set, is the following. Ruby Rose was diagnosed with bipolar disease. And bipolar disease is very unpredictable. It is very hard to live and deal with. You have to be on very good medication to keep your mood stable. She was living in Canada, in Vancouver, with no support system on a set, working like 18, 19 hours, a day for a person of normal, I won't say psyche, but of health and normal mental health. That is hard. It is rough. Imagine having bipolar disease. So yeah, her tantrums and stuff probably did happen because she's bipolar. But my problem is they knew she was bipolar before they effing casted her. So regardless of all the other stuff, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. We don't know. I know it's getting crazy. I know that Doug, who played Jacob, is now actually suing Ruby Rose for character defamation, I think of $10 million. I don't know what's happening with this. I don't know, guys. I will tell you this. Cameras, who plays Luke, something about him bothers me. I don't know why. The actor himself, it just bothers. I don't know. I think that some people are just so protective of not losing their paycheck that they will say or do anything. So I'm not saying that what he's saying isn't true or that it is, that it's a lie, that it's not true, or it is true. There's just something about that situation that bothers me. So I think this entire damn show is problematic. And I mean, the best thing they could do is just cancel it. That's how I feel. Just cancel it and reboot it as a brand new show with all new people. Which sucks because I actually don't mind Mary's actor. I love, Rachel as Alice, and I really love Sophie. But I mean, it's just too much drama. It's too much drama. It's too much. I actually like Ryan's brother for not being an idiot. He went to see Ryan with receipts. He did. Well, I mean, that's because out of every character, you have to have one logical one. Like, look at Ocean. I kind of felt like Ocean was like one of those characters that had like common sense. And then they just killed him off. I'm like, let's just make this really cool original character to do absolutely nothing with, except teach Alice how to fight in flashbacks, fall in love with her, make out with her, be on the run with her, come back to get her, and then die. I'm like, that's your role. That is your role, Ocean. Roll with it, like the waves you are. What you want to be that brother is going to try and use her. She figures out how terrible her brother and mother is and be like, screw you. But then the next episode they hang out because CW. That's always how it is. That is always how it is. Always. Oh, new look, new Batwoman. Yeah. Mm-hmm. New look, new Kate Kane. What do you think of Ryan's father being either Bruce Wayne or Luke's dad? If Bruce Wayne turns out to be her dad, you will never see another review of Batwoman on this show. I only watch it for you guys. You will not. I will absolutely adamantly refuse to watch this show. I'm done. I am absolutely effing done. Watch the brother fall for Sophie. Well, I need Mary to fall for somebody, but Luke's too much of a little pussy right now, so she needs you to let him go. The issue with this storyline is that it's taking away from Ryan's origins. The issue of this storyline is that it's taking away from Batwoman's journey of getting back these damn museum artifacts from the Bat Museum that are running around Gotham City. It's taking away from what we love about comic book TV shows, and that is the comic book feel of the superhero going after the items that hurt people. I don't give a shit about Ryan's origins. I'm going to be real with you. I'm tired. I'm beat over the head. I'm flipping tired of it. I really am. I should have 10 seconds of them. Oh, I need to go see my mom. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, she doesn't want me. And then the rest is, how do we get this stuff done? This is what? My name is Batwoman, not Ryan Wilder, not Kate Kane. It's Batwoman. Focus on the actual tone of the show, not the soap opera. If I wanted to watch a soap opera, I'd watch one of the damn ones that come on during the day. It doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, it doesn't. And I know CW is very big on that. They are very big on throwing soap opera elements in. I think Stargirl balances theirs out very well. Sometimes a little too well. Like I said, I'm still in my feelings about Rick not being helped out of jail and Beth being left out a lot was kind of irritating me too, because there's no pictures of Beth on Courtney's wall at all. And that kind of irritates me. But I really, in general, think that this show, that Batwoman, capitalizes on the drama more than any other Arrowverse show that I have ever seen come out. Even The Flash, and I put The Flash down all the time. So that is saying a lot when The Flash to me right now is a better show than Batwoman. So that's problematic as hell. It is problematic. Very, very problematic. Well, I'll say I think Batwoman has better writing than soaps, or some of the soaps in England writing is amazing. In England. Yeah. I mean, Ryan's backstory is a mess, but at least she is not a drug runner. They wanted her to be one. Remember when they first advertised her, they were like, she's an ex-drug runner who knows the biz. Hell, it might have been more interesting if they kept that angle. But again, I don't understand why every powerful Black hero has to come in with a damn thug background story, because that's not real life. Not every Black person in the United States came from the hood, came from the streets, came from drugs, came from prostitution, came from that life. It's bullshit. It is bullshit. A good twist to Ryan's story would be to reveal her birth father as a villain, making her family legacy kind of horrible, which would make her different from Kate. Heck, or the Joker's daughter. I'm down with her being a villain, being the daughter of a villain. Completely down with that. Anything to separate her from being Kate, because right now there's nothing. So, just saying. Mary is possibly my favorite character other than Alice. I agree. I do. I like Sophie, but Mary has always been one that I thought, especially I said this last season, I've always thought that she was underrated as hell. And I felt bad. And a lot of people that support the show hate Mary. And I think that's so sad. They do not like her at all. Batwoman needs training. Oh, no idea. Abso-flippin-lutely. In my head canon, if Ryan is Joker's daughter, I would love to see Alice's reaction to that. That would be interesting. It's great to see Robin Givens as Ryan's mom. I want to see villains, and she can do it. Wasn't she in Riverdale too? Wasn't she playing what's her face's daughter? I mean, mom. I forgot her name. I kind of got off watching Riverdale. It got really weird to me. But the lead singer of Josie and the Pussycats, is it Josie? Is she Josie, the leader, or was another girl Josie? It's been a minute. If she's Josie, then I'm pretty sure she played Josie's mother in Riverdale. And she also was kind of a villain. She was like the mayor or something. Also, if all these people are finding these things at the river, why didn't the Bat team win to check there? Because they ain't bright. Like, they're not bright. I feel so bad for Mary because it's like she can't catch a break, and they're going to realize real quick what would happen if your main healer is gone and finally then taking their shit. Yep. I'm waiting for her to snap. Yeah, Batwing should have been with Batwoman from the start. Yep. When Ryan was fighting and she turned away from the lady, I knew she was going to get knocked out. Because, I mean, who does that? That's stupid. Mary is a non-factor in this series, even so more with Kate gone. Hello, Ray. Ryan was just fine after she got out and went straight into the car. Oh, yeah, I forgot about. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. I forgot. It's just like the kids and the people on the bus. Girl was literally hypothermic. And then she's like, I'll drive. I'm like, because reasons. There is nothing. Just can't. I love how one, the villains blow the bridge and just stand there watching, and two, both Batwoman and Batwing just watch them get away. Yeah. Honestly, I have such a love-hate relationship with the show. I just wish Ryan was written better and wasn't handed Kate's hand-me-downs. Thank you. The problem is real talk. If it were not for being a show, there would be a rare overlap for Mary with the rest of the current characters outside of her underground clinic that a bat could get into. So, did I hear something wrong too in the series? Please correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Because I know where Mary's stance is in this. She doesn't have one. She doesn't have a shoe in this game, a pot to piss in, or anything. Did Jada tell Ryan, I'm so proud of you. You went from, your time basically in Blackgate to getting your degree to being the acting CEO of Wayne Industries. What did she get a degree in? Does anybody know? Does anybody remember ever hearing her going and getting a degree in anything? I'm very confused on that statement, and I'm pretty certain I did hear that. So I really need somebody to tell me what Ryan got a degree in. So that is your homework, guys. Explain to me that line. I don't understand why they didn't just make Ryan a League of Assassins character who came to Gotham to find Alice and instead finds a suit that would solve her fighting competence. Yeah, or she could a GCPD detective still has to go through fight training, so I would have been down with that too. Remember, it was actually Black Canary's dad who wanted her to be in the GCPD, and he trained her to fight to try and pass the exam to get into GCPD because he wanted a family legacy. And then she ended up, having Wildcat trained her, even more later on. So yeah, either or, anything but coming in as a freaking felon who was not arrested unfairly, living in a van with a Desert Rose plant. I like how last season they were like, nah, we're gonna be together and everyone is happy. But this season they're like, yeah, we like each other, and now people are like, no, why? Because CW. CW. If we go down this pseudo Poison Ivy route, do you think she's gonna introduce her children, Hazel, Rose, and Thorn? Because I feel like they can't get Pammy. We could possibly get the kids. I don't think we're getting any of them. I think she's gonna control people like Mary, and who knows when we're gonna actually see Poison Ivy? But no, absolutely not. They're not. So you can't put ideas like this out there in the universe because this show is not forward thinking. So they're not even present thinking. So no, that's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. But Alice would notice Mary is gone. Yeah, because again, Mary calling Alice her sister. She's like, unfortunately, that's my sister. Which is true. But for her saying that means she's very fucking lonely. When the woman who killed your mom, you're actually admitting is your sister. Well, in all fairness, Ryan is not the first Bat family member who can't fight. She's the second to Trim Drake. Just needs to go get training by. Well, first of all, who's going to train her? Nobody. She would be the only one. Laughed my ass off. That was Sophie's sister talking to her in the promo. That's okay. I could not recognize her for shiz. So she tried. Well, I mean, whatever she's saying to Sophie though is putting a little light in her head because you see those little Gaga hearts. She's like, "Oh, Ryan's hot in that dress." I'm like, I can't. Maria, when you mentioned that Sophie would be better Bats, it's been in my head. I mean, I'm telling you, she would be a better Batwoman. She has all the qualifications of being a better Batwoman. She is already prepared to be Batwoman. Her and Kate were trained the exact same way. And plus, she has all this experience working with the Crows. She knows the underground. She's got contacts. She could drive the Batmobile. She's running the freaking comms when Luke's not there. And she's not even trained to do that. So, yeah. Is a thing. I think Sophie and Ryan will probably be a popular couple for the show. I just don't like that Ryan is basically Kate 2.0. Yep. I don't see a reason for Jacob on the show anymore. Oh, they made sure that there's no reason for anybody on the show anymore. There's no reason to watch the show anymore. I'm just doing it. I think you may have been saying Sophie would be getting with Ryan for almost a year now. Oh yes, absolutely. Since her basically episode debut like of season 2. Yeah. It just got more and more obvious as time went on. I'm never really touchy of it like that with the Luke and Ryan. What Luke and Ryan? What do you mean? I'm not really touchy of it like that with Luke and Ryan. Are you saying that there's no reason for them? I'm confused on that, Ray. I'm pretty sure the actor left last season. Careful, you might spill the tea. Hello, Bart. How are you? I'm not gonna spill the tea. I have a holder. It's right here. It's warming my tea, so I can do this when I'm stressed. Because I am. I am very stressed out over this show. Thank you for watching The Flash and Batwoman for us. You're welcome. It is a struggle because I feel like if I'm going to do an Arrowverse weekly recap, I can't be like, except for these shows and these shows. I try to be open-minded, but God, it's so hard, guys. I like, even my spouse has never read a Batman comic, a Batwoman comic, a Justice League comic. Even my spouse literally will look at me with question marks and be like, what the hell is this shit? I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I think just based on season 1, 2, and so far 3 that we watched, River has determined that this show is trash. Loves Legends. Will watch Legends with me. Watch Stargirl with me. Doesn't mind Superman and Lois. Has issues with The Flash. River's issues with The Flash are funnier than mine. And then this show, Batwoman, River won't even watch Batwoman with me anymore. Like, River's like, nope, I am on my own. So, and I can't even get mad. Like, oh, the struggle is real, guys. The Bat family is like the Kardashians' newest generation. Oh, Lord. I'm kind of mad at Ruby for shitting on the show and Jacob. I can't get mad at her because I don't know what's true and what's not. I'm never going to get mad until I know 100% what the truth is. Because you can get mad at somebody, and then what if you find out, like, after the show like airs or ends, and they do like a 10-year reunion, and then they're like, oh yeah, working on that show was hell. Like, and then start talking about everything was hell, CW was hell. I mean, we don't know because we don't work there. So now I'm not going to take a shit on Ruby Rose. Again, I know she's bipolar, so I'm pretty sure she does have outbursts, and I'm pretty sure she may even be difficult to work with, but that doesn't disqualify her saying all of this shit is happening on the CW. And then the only reason I'm even saying the possibility of that happening is, yes, we don't work there, but also we have what happened on the set of Charmed. Madeline Mantock left for a reason. And she's not the only one. And Stephen Amell has been saying for years, working on Arrow, that he was treated badly and that he wasn't paid fairly. And co-stars were coming to make more money than him. And so if you really think about all of this stuff and why, look at Supergirl. She just had a baby. She's ready to move on. Yes, their cast was like a family, but I'm sure the hours and the bullshit probably got to them too. So, I mean, we don't know. We absolutely have no idea what actually is happening on the set of Batwoman. We do not know. And that is a reality. What happened to Spoiler? She's pretty much not in it. I'm like, that's all I got. Why on earth would Ruby pull a total Meghan McCain and just nuke her employer on her way out? I mean, again, my previous statement. In true comic fashion, that could have they could have used Ryan as Batwoman as an arc and used to the recast Kate as Batwoman going forward. That could work. No, because this is a POC yourself. Whenever we are casting something and then you give it back to a white woman, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Eclipso in Gotham. Please put Eclipso in Gotham. Please. I think season 1 is the best season. I kind of agree with that. Again, Kate's acting is very wooden. But at least we had some semblance of the comic book and it made a little bit more sense. And we actually focused more on what was happening in the villain of the week than we did on Kate's actual story. Yes, there was a lot of stuff with Alice, but I mean, that's normal. So yeah, it's a thing. 17 in here and only 11 likes. Come on. Well, I've learned that people will like a video if they like it. And so if they don't like what I'm saying, then they won't. So if you would like to like this video, please do. I know that some of you who may be looking at this may be in your feelings because I'm talking about Batwoman. And again, I respect you for your opinions, but I also don't care. So do what you will. I would have had Ryan Wilder come in as a cop to investigate Kate's death. Plot twist, it turns out Ryan is working for Ra's al Ghul, who really wants access to the Batcave, and she is an assassin. Wow. That would be a really good way of getting rid of Ryan. I would be mad if they brought in the new Kate going forward and Ryan went on and became like something like community activist or something from this experience. I wouldn't be mad. Okay. Yeah, but see, the problem is you would be in the minority. If they were to do that, the internet would break. Then like you just literally took a lead female Black actress and replaced her back with a white woman. The internet would effing break. It would break. You can't do that. So if you want to blame anybody, blame Caroline or Carolyn Dries and Greg Berlanti, because it was Greg Berlanti's idea in the first damn place. And she was just going to recast Kate, probably with Wallace Day. And he was like, no, let's just do this. And I'm like, yeah, he's such an idiot. I think Batwoman was always bad. Season 1 was worse because Ruby Rose's attempts to act were painful to watch. At least everyone can act now. Yeah, Ruby is very wooden. I'm not going to lie. She's very, very wooden. Ryan can't be a cop. She has a record. Well, Ryan would have been a great cop if they had actually had her as a cop instead of somebody who had a record. Like, that should have never been a thing to begin with. It's such a stereotype. She's not even off parole yet and still associated with drug dealers. Going back to the sexuality when it comes to Kryptonians it was very fluid, considering on the show Krypton, because they created kids to belong via high-tech space pods. Yep. And as long as you have the DNA, yep. That is true. Well, Sophie was in a different point in her sexuality, all fairness, and still basically DL. So this is a different, more embraced Sophie of self than when we met her. True. But she started embracing that shit in season 2. So this stuff was no excuse. And honestly, if you are in love with somebody to the point where like they literally, like, she left her Kate wrote her a letter. And through all of season 2, what was Sophie saying? I want Kate back. I just want Kate back. I just want Kate back. I just want Kate back. And then you get Kate back. And you leave the Crows. And you're like, this is my time now. You even dye your hair blonde. I'm like, and then Kate's getting ready to leave and saying, I guess we missed our timing. And you have a really big kiss. And then Sophie decides to stay. What was she staying for? Please tell me what Sophie had to stay in Gotham for. Yes, her sister is there, but her sister is a whole ass adult. She don't have to babysit her sister. She does not have a job. I have no idea how Sophie pays bills. Somebody please tell me that. How does she pay for her apartment, her car, her gas, her clothes, her blonde hair, going out clubbing every night? Where's she getting this money from? Because she has no job. What does she do when she's not in the Batcave? What is she doing? Sophie has no reason to be in Gotham. She could have gone off with Kate Kane. The only reason Sophie is still in Gotham is because the actress needs to stay, valid and work. And if they wanted to keep Sophie around, they were struggling to figure out how to keep her there, make her Batwoman, and move the fuck on. It's not brain surgery. Oh, Lord. These types of people probably don't even care about POC issues. Yeah, unfortunately. I think you need a pedestal for your tea. It bestows godlike willpower to endure Batwoman, the elixir of the gods. Do you think Mary is going to transition into Thorn via poison ivy experimentation? I was thinking that would be really cool because she was one of Pamela's $3, but she was the most cutthroat of the siblings. I really want her to go in there. She's going to do something. I don't think Mary got it. That whole scene with poison ivy and her getting infected with those vines are going to be for nothing. I think she's going to go in there and cause a bunch of problems, and they're going to realize that blowing off your team doctor and treating your teammate like shit has consequences. Like, oh, newsflash. The siblings are Thorn, Hazel, and Rose. What's the hiring process for CW writers? I bet they write their resume in Comic Sans. They don't need resumes. It's a coin flip. Ryan so far as Batwoman is like having Kamala as put aside eye. POC don't want this for the sake of color. We want substance and progress. Yes. I don't understand. I find actors not following each other on social media just fine. Some people like keeping it professional. Sarah Michelle Gellar kept that energy on Buffy and it saved her from workplace drama. Makes sense. I don't think what Ruby Rose is claiming is far-fetched. I think that there's always going to be truth. I think there is a gray area where there is some semblance of truth in what she's saying. I really do. I think there's enough info out there to suggest this stuff happens. I mean, I have a degree in film. I know it happens. I know what happens on movie sets. I have a friend working on a Netflix series right now, and I've been hearing all kinds of shit. I know for a fact that drama, deadlines, producers, executives, they put unrealistic expectations on directors and crew members and actors. And CW, you were not going to tell me that they don't do that shit. I mean, look at Legends of Tomorrow. Look how the short span of time went between, where they are now in their season for their previous season. That's insane. What kind of break was that? You don't go home for 2 weeks and then go back to work. I think Candace Patton even had a mini nervous breakdown. She had to go fly home to LA for a spell, which is why she was missing for a few episodes because they worked them to death. And I mean, it's crazy. I mean, some of them are probably working 5-6 days a week, probably 14 to 16 hours a day. That's a lot. I am so for the lawsuit. I'm so over people just making up stuff and people and being okay and the truth be subjective. The heck, it's either true or not. I'm tired of this in this current era. This isn't a witch hunt. It's a reckoning. Marisol Vera, former elder and ally of the Sarkana. I've got to go, Maria. That's fine. We're getting ready to eat. This has been a 2-hour stream, so we're getting ready to leave this stream because I has to go too. I've got some more voiceover stuff to do. I did post my Yashahime live stream not post. I did a live stream this morning. Me and Victoria Rain did another mixed perspective type video that's going to be out later today. Again, I do have a lot of videos planned. I'm sorry the spotlights have been coming slowly. I have to make a video on what's happening in my life because it's a lot and it'll explain why things are so slow. And give you some insight on what's going on in my life. So I will make that video for you this week actually and post it. So be on the lookout for that because the reason that things have been slow are all about me. And so, yeah, it's a thing. I know I'm not going to get to all of these. I am so sorry. If I missed your questions or you have any theories, concerns, ideas on any of the Arrowverse shows we talked about, post them below. And once again, if it is day for you, have a good day. If it is evening for you, have a very good evening. And I will see you in our next stream.